Photographers, what's the wildest request for a shoot you've ever received from an Instagram influencer? Once I was asked to shoot footage for a week and make a promo video for $200, no, not per day, for the whole week. I had one influencer. She tried to organize a shoot with me. When I told her my price, she was shocked because it turned out that, in her opinion, I was supposed to pay her. I work at a hotel and can't believe how many of these jerks want to stay for free in exchange for a post. Our marketers' observations show that their posts almost never pay off. I had the same situation once with a prostitute. This sounds like a comedy sketch about two prostitutes meeting without knowing each other. Once I was asked to shoot an entire wedding, a whole day, an underwater engagement photo shoot. I also do underwater shoots, and some honeymoon shots, all for PR. I immediately politely refused, and she started, "Do you know who I am? Do you realize what this will do for your career?" She had 10K fewer followers than I did, and I don't even shoot weddings, which I told her right away. So her shoot wasn't in my interest, even if she had millions of followers. Oh, there was a guy who asked me to shoot him naked. I refused, but wished him luck. Then I got a picture of his penis from him. Yeah, the penis pic is funny, like, what for? I once worked at a tech call center, and some guy sent me a bunch of photos of himself naked with a katana in his hands. If you have a katana in your hands, you're not naked. You're warmed by your Bushido skills and the honor of your ancestors. One influencer asked me to do a shoot with her. I didn't even have time to name my price when she named hers minus $300 for half an hour of shooting her. Her main argument was that she could teach me how to use and grow my social network. She was 15. To clarify, she asked me to pay her $300 plus, while at least she should have paid me. I don't ask for much. Now talk about your rights. A girl once asked me for tape to push up her chest. After that, she decided to strip completely down to her heels and asked me to go to another room, allowing her to take selfies with my remote. Hey, I'm not leaving you alone with my lenses. Did it happen in that order? Like she took off her clothes first and then convinced you to go to another room? I work in documentary filmmaking, and in university, I had an assignment. I met a woman who is about 30. She showed me an Instagram video and asked me to shoot like in it. And she showed professional video shooting with a green screen, lighting, and a set. I convinced her that I could do something similar in quality with my university equipment, but it would take time to find a team and studio. She said, "No, shoot on your phone." To my arguments that the video wasn't shot that way, she said, "Well, it's on Instagram, so it was shot on a phone." When I told her I charge for my work, not for praise, she left me alone. She only had 10 followers, 3 of whom were definitely porn bots. I'm not a photographer, but a friend of mine is a relatively popular influencer. She spends too much time looking for something original and unusual. Once I did something funny that amused a lot of people, never mind what it was. The main thing is that my friend made me repeat the moment on camera for her stories. You're not having fun unless you can prove it to your thousands of followers. A bald guy once asked me to Photoshop the veins on his head to make him look like a giant penis. He was some businessman selling his audiobook. I was once in New York, and a girl, who looked about 20, came up to me and asked me to take a picture of her. I thought it would be a regular request. Still, fighting my pride, I lowered the camera slightly for an architectural perspective. So when I looked up at her, she was already standing in the middle of the road, one hand leaning on a car, which probably stopped because of the traffic, and the other holding a sign with the word "Life." To this day, I don't get what happened. A client once asked me to Photoshop his head onto another guy's body because he liked his shirt. Naturally, I did it for laughs, and he paid me for it. I have a long gray-white beard, and people often joke, calling me Santa Claus. I spent this Christmas in Punta Cana, and by the way, I have an old shirt with a reindeer and Christmas stuff on it. So on Christmas afternoon, I go to the beach in this shirt, and a crowd of girls in bikinis surround me, wanting to take selfies with me. I didn't mind at all. It was awesome fun. And if a bunch of giggling girls want to sit on my lap, who am I to complain? However, it quickly got old. Each of them wanted 20 photos from different angles, in different poses, with different backgrounds and lighting. I couldn't understand what was happening until one of them said it would blow up on Instagram when everyone saw what Santa does after Christmas Eve. Then it started to irritate me incredibly, so I didn't want to take photos with anyone anymore, unless a child asked. This angered the Instagram crowd, which naturally made things worse. I didn't go to the beach or the pool for the rest of the week. A girl once contacted me asking for a Suicide Girls style shoot. When she heard my rates, she said, "Oh, I don't have that much. Isn't showing my breasts enough? Tits? Here you go, damn it. Are they made of money?" She asked for $200 an hour for 3 hours, with no modeling experience. She also demanded that her photos couldn't be posted anywhere and that she would sell them exclusively on Patreon. I went hiking with a friend once. We were going on a 17-mile hike in the blazing sun. Then he suddenly stopped and said, "Wait, I forgot my stuff to flex later for Insta." He ran back to the tent and stuffed more than half of his clothes into his backpack. At noon, during the hike, he remembered that he had taken his camera out of the backpack to fit more clothes. The word influencer used to have a completely different meaning. Once I had a client, a plump musician, who wanted to create a buzz around his persona. This was at the beginning of my career, and it didn't sound wild to me. He hired me to follow him around the local shopping mall, pretending to be paparazzi. Yelling fake questions while he ignored me turned out to be a lot of fun. Many people fell for it, wandering after us. Looking back, I can say with confidence, I've never had a sillier job. I paid my photographer for the album cover with cinnamon rolls. He insisted on such payment. So now I am the creator of a new currency. I also paid my photo editor with these rolls, although there was some money in that mix. I usually don't work with the mentally challenged, but I was offered $200 for a whole day of shooting for a promising, crappy influencer. I politely declined her request, as it wasn't worth my time, and she said, "Your loss. This could have been your moment of glory, sweetheart." With such a nasty smile that for the first time, I wanted to hit a woman after a combative childhood with my sister. Only my grandmother has the right to call me sweetheart. Why did I feel the last line so much? Are you someone's younger sister? No, I'm someone's older brother. I was asked to do a boudoir shoot with blood, bondage, and vampires, people biting each other. The client was a fairly reputable producer of children's shows in Toronto. Besides model shoots, I also do boudoir, and many years ago, I got a request for a masturbatory orgy shoot from a spiritual group. At the time, boudoir and erotic photo shoots were new topics for me to agree to something like that. If I got such a request today, I would 100% agree, and even write a blog about it. I'm a wedding photographer, and yes, I've had such influencers. They claim to have a huge number of followers and were ready to promote me. But as soon as I asked for their nickname, silence. I often encounter this because I'm quite well known and always appear in searches. PR? People die from PR. There was a request, but not from an influencer. My boyfriend's mom is a photographer, and she was once sent 2 photos, one of which needed to be edited. In the first photo, there was a young man with his grandmother in front of some monument. In the second, the young man was alone. Several years later, in front of the same monument. The request was to Photoshop the second photo so that the grandmother appeared as a ghost next to the young man, as she had passed away. Creepy as hell. They were just both big Star Wars fans. He wanted a photo with his grandma's force. I am a model. One famous model from a TV show suggested I shoot for a big sunglasses company for PR and fun. PR doesn't pay my bills. It was a big brand, and they didn't have a budget. When I refused, she immediately unfollowed me everywhere. I'm not a photographer, but I shoot videos/whole clips for a big sportswear brand. I have tons of influencers and models who would die to be in a video. One such girl found me on Tinder after I blocked her on Instagram, swearing that she would be much better than all the models with professional portfolios from agencies. I held a casting call with her on Instagram. The worst mistake of my life. There is a huge difference between an influencer and a real professional model. Yes, we need to know all your measurements. I don't care what your sizes are, but for perfect tailoring of the clothes for a model, it's necessary to know everything. No, you can't take photos or film your vlog on set. You're paid for modeling, not for your online influence. No, you can't post these photos online for 6 months until the clothing line is released. Yes, you will have to wear winter clothes in the summer and summer clothes in the winter during the shoot. Sometimes it seems to me that being a model is even harder than being part of the filming crew. At least I don't have to pretend that I'm dying after 3 days of shooting, while the models still have to look beautiful. I sometimes do street photography. One time, an influencer offered to boost my reputation. I was supposed to pretend to be shocked when I saw her on the street in my city. I also needed to take a bunch of photos and give them to her right there. This all had to be filmed by, I hope, her boyfriend. I couldn't use the photos myself, and all I would get was a mention at the end of the post. I said no, thank you. Then I took a few photos of her. She said she would sue me. I replied, "We're in a public space, and this is my hobby, so the photos are not for sale. I don't need model releases." Never heard from her again. Watch other videos at our channel.